Welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast with Mariana C. Ruiz, the podcast for the go-getter mom entrepreneur who refuses to let motherhood slow her down from achieving success and making an impact. Tune in Mondays to learn the success secrets of top influencers who also happen to be moms so that you can reach the success, freedom, and impact you desire.
Ready to create success on your terms, mom entrepreneur? Head on over to marianacruiz.com/success to download your copy of the game plan. It's a step-by-step process to get you results and enjoy every step of the journey. Because as mom entrepreneurs, it's about designing a business around our lives and not the other way around. Plus, I also walk you through areas where you might get stuck to help you avoid the pitfalls that so many of us have to go through. So head on over to marianacruiz.com to get your copy now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. Before we dive in, I want to go back and highlight the last episode where Lori Joy talked about how she used a very small Facebook group and challenge to create a 5-figure launch. It is such a testament to the fact that you don't need to have everything figured out. And if you feel that way and you want something, a basic plan that you can implement, go back and listen to that episode. It's episode 12 in season 1. So now let's dive in. We are going to be talking with Robin Smith. She is an Instagram expert that I had met a few months ago, actually quite a while back. And we got talking because she was a guest blogger on my blog. And I will definitely link to her post because she tells you some really great tips for growing your Instagram following on just 15 minutes a day. Definitely something that us as moms can use. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and we're going to be talking with Robin Smith today. Welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. Today I have my friend Robin Smith, who is an Instagram expert and does really, really amazing stuff with social media. Plus, she has a really inspiring story. So let's get right into it. Are you ready to go, Robin?
I'm ready to go. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Tell us all a little bit about what you do and how you've been able to create success in your life.
Okay. Well, what I do now is I actually teach entrepreneurs how to build their business on Instagram. Okay. And my backstory is very funny, actually. I mean, I went to college, I graduated college with a biology degree, and I studied breast cancer for 3 years and kind of just stumbled upon the whole online business thing. I wasn't looking for it or anything like that. And actually, in all honesty, an ad popped up on eBay. I was searching for something else and an ad popped up and it just caught my eye. The idea of working from home. I had just gotten married and eventually we're thinking one day we're going to have kids, go from there. So it kind of shocked me how it really happened. And I started a network marketing business in 2007. And initially my sponsor was like, pick up the phone and cold call. Just get lists, pick up the phone and cold call. You know those people we all hate? Well, I was one of those people. I was like, okay, I was willing to make this work. So I would call 100 calls a day. And pretty much 99 or so would slam the phone down or yell at me or curse me out or something like that. And one person would say yes, and they would actually look at my offer and everything. And honestly, I built a big team doing this, okay? But yeah, I mean, it does work, but it wasn't really growing the way I wanted it to because nobody was really willing to sit there and take being yelled at for 4 hours a day, you know? So I actually moved online to Facebook. And this was back in maybe about 2009 or so. And at the time, spamming worked. I mean, you could put your link all over Facebook and you actually got results from it. So I put my hand up in the air. I was a spammer. And again, I found success with this. I really did. And my team found success with this. I was teaching them what to do. But in my heart, it just kind of didn't feel right. Like it wasn't me. And by this time, like I said, I was finding success. I actually left my biology job and everything. And I was working from home 8-10 hours a day. But like I said, in my heart, it just wasn't right. And then I had my son in 2013 and everything changed, which I'm sure you can agree that kind of happens, that moment when you realize that I can't work from 10 hours a day. I'm down to like between naps, which are like 30 minutes long, if that. So everything kind of had to change. And that's really when I started on Instagram. The reason why is because our phones are attached to us. And it was one of those things that I could have him in the sling and carry him around and still have the phone in front of me, being able to post on Instagram 3 times a day and getting results that way versus on Facebook when I would spend hours on Facebook. And then in 2014, I got close with a real group and I really learned about branding me. And that's when really things took off. Okay. Suddenly I wasn't focused on my network marketing company or anything like that. I was focusing on what I could bring to the table. And that was Instagram. At the time, very few businesses were using Instagram and having big success. So that's what I decided to teach, is I was going to teach people how to use Instagram to grow their business. And that brings us to today.
Wow. I love that story. So I think that there's a lot of nuggets in there. One of them that really stuck out with me, because I was previously in a network marketing business as well, selling. I've done a lot. I did the whole like Avon and all of that. And there's something that was not in alignment for me with my values and like how I wanted to run my business. And I think that you touched on that. And I think for anybody listening, if you are in this space where your business, whatever it is, it might not be network marketing. It might be like you decided to be some other type of coach or something else just because it was a transition for you from corporate or whatever the reason is. If you're not in that alignment where like all your values and like everything that you stand for is in alignment, it makes it really hard. Would you agree with me?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there were days I did not want to go to work. I mean, like, didn't even want to open the computer some days, to get started, because it just sometimes, I want to say, almost made me sick inside because it just wasn't there bringing joy to my life, even though, like I said, I was having success, but inside, internally, I was not.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt. I was selling the product, but it turned out that I was very much more like a service person. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense, like knowing who I am, right? Like I had to dig internally and be like, okay, yes, I love to help people. That's why I became a nurse, right? Like digging deep and knowing yourself more. And then that leads me into talking about branding yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about what that kind of looked like?
Sure. Like I said, for me, I started branding myself as an Instagram coach or an Instagram trainer. And that's what I do now. So for example, if you see me anywhere, pretty much, I never mention network marketing, never mention my network marketing business or anything like that. I lead with giving tips and trainings and value all based on Instagram. So my little piece of advice as far as that is pick one specific topic and become an expert in that. And I mean, that means, and I had to do this myself because I was one of those people that tried to be everywhere. Mm-hmm. It really means narrowing down and studying just one specific topic, whatever it is. I mean, it can be anything with social media or closing, or you said specifically coaching, mindset, any part of that. And if you really dig in and study, I would say even 30 minutes a day for 30 days, you will be amazed how much you can learn. You will be an expert, trust me, because you'll be more of an expert than the regular people out there. I always kind of compare it to wrestling has different color belts. And when you start out, you're not a black belt right away, which is like one at the top. You're not. But you know what? As you work your way up, you know more than the person below you. So you can help them get better. And that's how it's going to work. So as you're learning something, teach it to someone else. And as you learn something else, teach it to someone else. And you'll be amazed at what can happen.
Yeah, I think that's such a valuable lesson, especially for people who are kind of like thinking that they're not an expert yet. Like, you know more than you think you know because you know what you know, but you don't realize what other people don't know.
Right.
And that was a really confusing way to put it, but I like your analogy better. But yeah, you can always teach a person who's like 2 steps behind you and really help them out. And that's pretty much just start where you are, really. Mm-hmm. I love that. So tell me, like, you said that when your son was born, kind of everything changed. Like, can you tell me more about how being a mom has impacted your business overall? And then like kind of in the day-to-day, what does your day look like?
Okay. Well, as I said, I was working 8-10 hours pretty much on Facebook, sometimes on Twitter and everything, all the time. I was attached to my computer, and luckily my husband, because I was having success, he was actually supportive of it, me with my computer while we're sitting watching TV and everything. And I was working 8-10 hours a day. I was always on the phone. I was really building. And like I said, I had my son, and all of a sudden my 10-hour days were narrowed down to maybe like 3 hours. And it was like, oh my God, what am I going to get done in 3 hours and still build my business and still be able to help people and get out there and everything? So what I did was, I know I'm very lucky. My son is very scheduled. Okay. He has a specific nap time, and he's been this way since he was born. I'm very lucky. So I'm putting that out there right away because I know some people, their kids don't sleep and everything. And I commend you guys because I don't know what I would do. But my son is very, very scheduled. So what I would do is I sat down and I wrote down his schedule, and then I figured, what can I do in that time? So for example, he gets up at 6 a.m. every morning. So I said, okay, well, if I get up at 5, that gives me an hour, okay, before he's up. So every morning I spend 1 hour. I get up at 5 a.m. and I don't do anything. Like, I don't sign into Facebook. I don't sign on to Instagram. I don't even check my email. I just sit at my computer and I create content, whether it's content for my group, whether it's usually not a video that early in the morning, but sometimes it'll be an audio. And then, or I'm creating my Instagram post. And I do that for 1 hour. Like, I set the timer and that's it. And like I said, I don't do anything else. And then he gets up and he has my full attention until nap time, which is from about 12 to 2 every day. And that's usually when I do most of my calls at that time and everything. And when I do my videos, because by then I've showered and dressed and everything. That's when I do my videos and stuff. And then personally, I rarely work at night just because that my husband's home and everything, and that's family time. But sometimes I have to. So really, I do an hour in the morning and then 2 hours around lunchtime, and that's it. And that's what my day normally looks like. Now, yes, I do pop on to Facebook Messenger here and there. I do pop on to Instagram Messenger here and there just because I need to. But as far as sitting down and giving 100% attention to my business, that's it. That's what I do. Like I said, he is very scheduled, so it allows me to do that. For example, today we're recording this at 2. So I'm hoping I get everything done before he wakes up. Actually, I'm not going to lie. So we may have I put him down just a little later just so hopefully he'll sleep. But again, that's my biggest advice, is just see where you can fit it in. And then you'll actually be amazed how much you can get done in a short amount of time. I figured out I was wasting so much time because I knew I had it. And then once I know I only have 3 hours a day, I have to get done this whole list, I seem to be more productive. And I've talked to other people, a lot of other people agree with that too. So that's one little piece of advice. And like I said, really with Instagram, it worked really well because I only need 3 posts a day to be successful on Instagram. You don't need to be on it all day long. You can do it just a couple minutes here and there and be successful. Like I said, your phone's always with you. So it actually works out quite well.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about like what success means to you and what kind of that looks like in your life right now.
Sure. To me, the definition of success kind of has like 2 parts. First, I am a huge cheerleader. When I help my clients, customers, or teammates achieve a goal that they want, I get so excited. Like, I feel like I've done it with them, I like to tell the world about that. So that really, to me, that's one of the definitions that I feel success is actually when I can help other people achieve something they want to help. And then the second part is a little more personal. For example, maybe I've earned extra money so we can spend an extra night on vacation, or just to kind of see that extra excitement in my husband's face or my son's face and everything. Kind of sound like a typical mom and wife here. I'm thinking about everyone else but myself, right? Is kind of what happens. We went on a vacation recently, and I know my husband kept going on and on and on how he wanted a big SUV. That's what he wanted. He wanted to go on and rent a big SUV. And I was like, there's 3 of us. We don't need this huge SUV. But that's what he wanted. So I surprised him and lied to him initially, told him I was getting this small little car because that's what we had. And I ended up going out making a little extra money. And I ordered the big SUV and surprised him with it when we got there on vacation. And that just, to me, made the whole vacation so much better. He was so happy and excited. That was success in my book. I was able to give something to my spouse, to my husband, who's sat there with me, who's helped me out when I needed it. I was able to do something for him. And really, my biggest successes, like I said, is my team is doing well. My whole team is now finding financial freedom. I love hearing their stories, like a mom telling me she doesn't have to go back to work after maternity leave. Just the thought of that just warms my heart to no end. I didn't have to go back. I can't imagine putting my son in daycare when he was like 6 weeks old. It would have broke my heart, and my heart goes out when I hear people say this. So that was me. My family's together and we can travel and not have to worry about nickel and diming to make it through the week. It's more of a relax than we were before when we were younger. So that's really the successes that I feel. As far as, numbers wise, I grew my Instagram to over 25,000 followers. And I created a Facebook group with over 3,500 group members since December. So it's only been about 9 or 10 months. I got 35,000 members, and it's also very active, very engaged in everything. So I'm really very, very excited about both of those achievements.
And you are so always on it. Like every time I go in your group, I'm always getting value. You're like always in there just helping other people. Like I love your community. I'll definitely link to it in the show notes. Your Facebook group is always so informative. And I've had my go at Instagram a few times. I just cannot remain consistent with it, but total honesty. But you have been the one to help me with everything I've done, and your things work. Like every time I've done them, I really grow my following on Instagram. So your strategies, everything about it is so amazing. We'll definitely link to more of that in the show notes. So is there anything that you wish you knew maybe a little bit sooner on your journey?
Yeah, I kind of touched on this a little earlier. You don't need to be everywhere. And that's something, I was trying to be on Facebook. I was trying to be on Twitter. I was trying to write blogs. I was trying to do LinkedIn. I was recording audios. I thought I had to be everywhere, be visible everywhere. And really what I would do is I would pick up every course, every freebie. I would attend every webinar to learn how to do this. And what I realized I was doing is all I was doing was learning. I wasn't even implementing anything I even learned because there was always something new to learn, to be somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't until I limited my focus. Where now, for example, I only deal with webinars on building a business or Instagram. They're the only two. I don't waste my time on getting a webinar on LinkedIn or something like that because I'm not on there. And that's really one of my big things I tell people is pick a topic, whatever it is. Okay. If you want, I'm going to be on Facebook. Okay. That's it. Learn how to be on Facebook, pick up one course. That's probably all you really need, or go onto YouTube. That's probably all you need to do. Learn how to market on Facebook and then forget about everything else. Once you're doing well and finding success, you can use other methods then. You can also learn all the little cheats to learning other methods. For example, just a little sneak peek, golden nugget I'll throw in here is if this then that, it's ifttt.com. You can actually set up your post where, for example, when I post onto Instagram, it automatically goes onto Twitter. So even though I'm never actually on Twitter, it looks like I am. And I just put a link in and it goes there. And that's once you set it up with the if this then that, it does it automatically. So it's a great time saver. So like I said, I'm not on Twitter very often, ever, if at all. But yet it looks like I am on Twitter. So that's a little piece of advice.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that happens so much. It's the whole shiny object syndrome. Because so-and-so had 20,000 followers on LinkedIn or YouTube. Sorry to be bashing other things, but whatever. If you're trying to do all of that and you have no team, it's just you. I think that's the sole differentiator, right? If somebody is on all platforms, they're either automating it or they have a huge team.
Exactly.
So you're on your own when you're starting out, just start with one. Focus on one, master one. And that's why for me, my one thing has been always Facebook. And I've tried to go over to Instagram and not staying consistent with it because at the end of the day, I go back to Facebook. And I think too, where do you love to be? If you love to be on Facebook or if you love to be on Instagram, then go be there. Mm-hmm. Instead of trying to be everywhere. But I love that advice. I think that is something that has not come up yet, actually, on the podcast.
Oh, good.
Okay. Is there one thing that you do every single day to stay on top of your game?
Okay. Well, personally, I do yoga every day. That mentally keeps me stable. Okay. Usually I turn Dinosaur Train on. So my son has 30 minutes where he absolutely loves it. And I get 30 minutes to do yoga. where he leaves me alone and I'm in the same room with him. So it's actually funny, but he just is engulfed in the show that I'm able to get this done. So that keeps me mentally stable. It's just doing yoga. And then as far as professionally, I have, I guess what you would call like a daily method of operation that I must do every day. And that is post 3 times on Instagram. Now you can schedule your posts. So sometimes I have them set ahead of time, but have to have 3 posts on Instagram. Same thing with posting in my group at least once, but I prefer to post more often. And then to keep me sane, just because, things pile up and what happens is if I don't clear my messages out on Facebook Messenger, that's just something I feel like I have to do. Even if I do it once a day, it works. Otherwise I notice I'll have like 400 messages the next day. And it's like, I used to bet, it's going to take me hours to go through this. So that's like the bare minimal that I have to do every day is post 3 times on Instagram, at least post once in my group, and then answer all my messages. And that keeps me going. It keeps me excited about my business because if I don't, I feel like I haven't done anything that day. And I also know that tomorrow is going to be even more of a hassle.
Yeah. And we talked about this before we started recording, but one thing that is always really, really full is my email inbox. And I don't think I've seen 0 in like years.
Oh.
But I do always check my Facebook direct messages. Always, always. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it can be scary when you open it up. I was away on vacation for a week and I was checking here and there my phone, but not really sitting down answering it. And I know I came back and there was 1,022 messages. And I was like, I'm never going to get through this. I mean, it took me days to get through all of them.
Wow. And so you still have a pretty big team under you in your network marketing company?
Yes.
Okay. So you're helping them and coaching them as well?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Wow. So you have a lot on your plate, actually.
I do. Yeah. And I like it because my network marketing business, it's growing on its own right now. So I can do less. And I have set it up where a lot of it is done without me nowadays, where I can focus more on Instagram. But I definitely do teach them and help them out as well.
Cool. Okay. So can you talk about a struggle or failure you had? Because I really believe that failure is the path to success. And I think that we can learn from each other's obstacles, failures, struggles. So is there anything in particular that when you think of that word, you think might be a really valuable lesson for the moms listening?
Oh, yes. I would say it's a struggle that I overcame more than a failure, but it kind of is a failure because I should have done it years ago. I was terrified of video. I terrified. Okay. You want to talk about sweats. I would actually get pretty much sick at just the thought of doing video. I would look at these people, they would be creating these awesome trainings and these awesome videos. And I would think, I have to do this, but there's no way that I could. I'm very shy. I am an introvert and I hated the way I looked on camera. I hated the way my voice sounded. I hated everything about it. I tried to do it, don't get me wrong, multiple times, but I just couldn't do it. And it really wasn't until a mentor of mine, a lady by the name of Diane Hotchman, she said one time in a training of hers, she said, close your eyes, picture a mom crying her eyes out at 2 a.m. She's sitting at the computer. She's maxed out her last credit card on some spammy, no good course. Her husband's probably going to kill her in the morning. Her kids are probably going to be up in about an hour or so. She's dealing with that mommy guilt that we all have of taking them to daycare while she goes to work 8-10 hours a day at some gen ed, low paying, no good job. She's kind of at her limit's end. She needs your help and she's beyond desperate for your help. She'll see your video on Facebook. She listens to the value that you bring. She doesn't care what your hair looks like, or if you have makeup on, or if you stutter, or if your background isn't some beautiful house or something like that. She's going to listen to you because she needs you. And I remember thinking about this, and my heart just started to pump, and I could feel it beating harder and harder. And I realized 2 things. One, I was being selfish, not sharing what I knew with the world because people needed to hear me. They needed my help. So I was being selfish and that didn't sit well with me. And then there's 2, this kind of took the pressure off of me because I was coming at a world of helping people. Kind of like what you said, you felt better helping people than selling. So my trick and what I do every time before I push play, before I even get on something like this, is I actually stand up and I say aloud, somebody desperately needs to hear what I have to say. And it's funny, I say that and I just feel so inspired to get it out there. So if somebody is sitting there, like I said, at 2 a.m. crying, she's going to hear it and she needs me, so she's going to get me. So that's really one little trick I have. Like I said, I was petrified of video. And now if you look at my group, I do video all the time. I'm on webinars. I do this kind of stuff. But I'm still scared, but I push myself through it. And that's really one of the things I think we all kind of have our little insecurities and everything. But when you're working with the right people, they don't even care about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so powerful. I'm also an introvert, and that videos, like when I did my first one, I literally just said, I didn't die.
Yes, exactly.
But I love how you did this and you switched the programming in your head to come at it from a place of service. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to repeat the mantra one more time, and we'll definitely have it in the show notes. But somebody desperately needs to hear what I have to say. Is that correct?
That is it. Yep. That's what I tell myself. And I actually stand up and I say it aloud. I don't just say it in my head. I actually get up and say it.
I love that. That's way more powerful. Oh, that is a great tip. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
Okay, so let's say you had to start your business all over again. You had no business, no team, no list, no connections. You know what you know now, but you only had 3 hours a day, like most of us moms, and you've already outlined that you had that struggle too, and $5,000. What would you do?
Well, what I would do, and it's funny because you put the $5,000 in there, that kind of changes things slightly, because what I would actually do, and I think this would work even if you didn't have the money, would be I would create a Facebook group depending on whatever topic I wanted to get on. Again, like I said, you pick your expert niche. I would do that. And then to fill it, I would actually go into other Facebook groups where my target audience would be and go in, make sure it's an engaged community, and your people are in there. And it's a likable community. I mean, sadly, there are some Facebook groups that are very negative. I don't like those. I kind of stay out of those. But go make sure it's the right group for you, where you feel happy. And then in those groups, I would do two things. One, post a valuable tip. Again, whatever your expert niche is that you decided, a tip, a training, or something like that. No links, just that. And then most groups kind of have a promo day. So check out when their promo day is. I actually keep a list of mine because I actually do this myself. And whatever the promo day is, instead of promoting a website or something like that, promote your Facebook group that you created. Now, definitely check, because some groups do not like you mentioning another group in theirs. But it doesn't matter. If they don't like it, just leave the group. There's plenty others, trust me. And you will be amazed how many people who have now seen your posts during the week are going to click to join your group to learn more from you. Like I said, I do this now.
It's a free offer, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's completely free. And it's one of those, what you would call, like what I would call, it's like a low bar, because we join Facebook groups all the time, right? I mean, think about it. You probably join a couple a week or maybe one a day, depending on what it is. And it's not like giving away your email address where, oh man, I'm going to get more emails. It's going to flood my inbox, right away. It's very low bar. So a lot of people are willing to just join the group very easily. Plus, the way Facebook has it is, if you put the link in, the little picture shows up. They can just press join right there, and it's easy. And then what I do is, once they come into my group, I actually would send them a message and just start a conversation. Just figure out how you can help them, and you're good to go. And then, obviously you're building a relationship. You would be able to, again, now build up your business, build up your team, build up a list, which you didn't have any. Now, adding the $5,000 in, kind of, like I said, kind of does changes. I would actually just go to get straight out business coach to help you understand, now that you're building your list, because you know how to do that, what to do with it, how to monetize it. And an actual standard business coach would be able to help you do that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so let's just recap a little bit. So you would find a Facebook group and decide or create a Facebook group around whatever area that you want to specialize in. And then you would find some other groups where your target audience would be, and you would start to just give value posts, no links and no promotions. And then on their promo day, you would post inside the thread or whatever the rules are for promoting. You would post a link to your Facebook group. Then once people join, you would private message them and ask them, how are you doing? Or something to start a conversation and start to build relationships. Is that correct?
That is exactly it. Yes.
Yeah. And then with the money, you would start to build an email list and get the coach to help you kind of build out maybe some funnels or some other way to build your business that way. Is that correct?
That is it. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. That is so helpful. And that's so practical and very step by step. So thank you.
Good.
Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you think would be really helpful for mom entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
Wow. I would say find a good team to work with. Okay. I know building a business, it's lonely. I don't know about you, but to me, when I first started, my spouse, my friends, my family, they didn't understand it. They couldn't understand why I was okay with being up till 3 a.m. working because I was excited about it. They just thought I was kind of crazy, you know? So my suggestion is find people who understand. Now, it doesn't need to be like a team, like a network marketing team. It could kind of just be like a mastermind group where ladies get together. Or, for example, I'm actually part of what we call an accountability team. And we have a little Facebook group message and we talk throughout the day here and there, but we're there to support one another. We're there to help one another. We're there to kick each other in the butt when we need the motivation. We just support each other. We're really, really there for each other. And that's really one thing I would suggest is finding a group like that that can be completely free. It can be anybody you meet on Facebook. Just say, do you want to be like an accountability partner or something? And really, they're going to understand that when you say, wow, I was up till 3 a.m. finishing that funnel, they're going to, great job. Whereas, like I said, your spouse is probably going to say, come to bed. So just get with that good group of people who are all like-minded and moving in the same direction as you. And I really think that that'll help you get to where you want to be even faster.
I totally agree. I think that's a really, really good piece of advice for anybody who's really struggling on their own. For me, that's been like, I have a couple of biz besties, I call them, but it's just the same. We're not like in contact every day, but at least like once every couple weeks at the very, most, we'll talk, we'll get back on the phone and just kind of like vent and just be an ear for each other because it can be very lonely. And you're right. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to start the podcast and start the movement with the Entrepreneurial Moms group, because I felt like people were not getting in my regular life. The stay-at-home moms didn't quite get my drive and my need to make an impact, right? And then the people who were from work, they just were kind of either okay with working or just not as into the passion side. And so the people that really will understand you the best, other entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So wherever that is, luckily because of the internet, we can connect everywhere in the world, but reach out and start a little group for yourself. If you want to lead that way, that would be really cool. So how did you find the people in your group?
I actually found them on Facebook. It was one of those things we met and just started talking and realized it's funny because we're actually in different network marketing groups, and some of them actually teach different social media platforms, which I think actually worked out really well for us because we work so well together that I was able to teach them Instagram and they were able to teach me, for example, YouTube better, that we kind of helped each other out. So really it was just a matter of meeting people on Facebook, and then I kind of took the lead and put people together. And like I said, I think there's 5 of us. And we have a messenger. We always talk. Sometimes we'll pop on. Now we have to use Zoom because Google Hangouts is gone, but we'll pop on there if we need something. Or for example, oh, look, I created this new website. Can you check it out? And it's nice to just get that other person's opinion.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. And it's a different type of feedback, I want to just say, than what you get from a coach.
Yeah.
Because I have my coach still, but I still call on my biz besties for a different type of feedback, for a different type of advice, and just almost they'll get to know you over time and kind of the things that you like. And like you said, bring your expertise together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's cool. So tell us where people can find out more about you. And I know you have a special gift for everybody.
Yes. Well, obviously on Instagram, the easiest way to find me would be Robin Smith 2007 on Instagram. I'm actually Robin Smith 2007 pretty much everywhere. That's my username pretty much all over. But if you actually want me to respond back, it would be on Instagram. You could also check out my Facebook group, which I know you'll put a link to, but it's the 6 Steps to Instagram Success with Robin Smith. So go search for that. And I have a little freebie. I put together a 6-day boot camp for people starting out on Instagram to learn how to market their business on Instagram. So if you go to marketyourbusinessblog.com/bootcamp, you will be able to pick up the 6-day boot camp 100% free. And that's like my free gift to you guys. And again, that's marketyourbusinessblog.com/bootcamp.
Awesome. And we'll definitely link that up in the show notes for anybody who's like not able to take notes right now. But thank you so much for coming on, Robin. It's been so awesome talking to you. Thanks for bringing your expertise and your stories and sharing everything with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been such fun.
So there you have it, another episode of the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Next week, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a season recap and some of your first steps as you're building your business, because we talked with a lot of wonderful experts in this space, from brand new entrepreneurs to 7-figure entrepreneurs. And they're all moms. They all had great tips to share with us. And I also gave some solo lessons about how to get started with your online business and what to do first to make sure that you're really going to turn a profit with this business. And so I want to do a little bit of a season recap next week, and then we're going to be taking a break for about 4 weeks for the holidays, and really just to give you a little bit of a break to actually take action on everything that we've talked about. So the next episode is going to be another short one. I'm just going to recap some of the things from the last season and what we have in store for you for 2017. I'm so excited to share all of this with you. And so stay tuned and subscribe so that you get all of the updates. Have an awesome day. Bye.
You've been listening to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. By reviewing the show, it allows us to reach more moms to help them grow their businesses. So head on over there, leave us an honest rating, and I can't wait to catch up with you there. By the way, every single week, I'm going to select one winner who leaves a review, and you'll be able to get a free strategy session with me. In this 20-minute laser-focused session, you'll get the information that you need to move your business to the next level of success that you desire. Have an awesome day.